Monkey D. Garp is a legendary figure in the world of One Piece and a character that Oda has focused on quite a lot in the final saga of the series. The current arc Egghead Island has seen Garp take center stage with his invasion of the pirate island in order to save his beloved protege, Captain Kobe. During his invasion of the pirate island, Garp was faced with several titanic captains of the Blackbeard pirates, which also included the former admiral of the Marines, Kuzan. Naturally, this fight was incredibly hard for Garp to compete in, especially when he had to keep all the other younger Marines safe at all times. Despite everything, Garp showcased why he was called the hero of the Marines and held in legendary light all across the world of One Piece. Fans got to see several powerful techniques being used by him, and one of them was what he pulled off in One Piece 1088, called Galaxy Divide. Conqueror's haki is a power that very few people in the One Piece world possess. It is an ability that cannot be awakened by training, and one needs to be born with it in order to be able to wield it. Conqueror's haki, also known as the color of the Supreme King, allows the user to impose their willpower on others and make them pass out. The greater this difference in strength between these two characters, the easier it gets to impose the willpower and knock them out. However, this doesn't really work against strong enemies. Against stronger enemies, this version of Conqueror's haki is simply ineffective. However, there is a far better application of Conqueror's haki that fans were made aware of in the Wano Country arc of One Piece. This ability is known as Conqueror's haki infusion, and it sees the user infuse their body with Conqueror's haki, just as they do with armament haki, and then both attack and defend with it. Conqueror's haki blows are much more potent than armament haki, and they are a difference maker. This skill is what separates the strongest from those who are good, and, according to Kaido, only the strongest few can infuse Conqueror's haki. Garp is an excellent user of Conqueror's haki. Although it was unconfirmed for the vast majority of the series whether Garp had Conqueror's haki or not, the final saga made it pretty clear when Garp attacked the pirate island. His entrance to the island saw him charge up his fist with Conqueror's haki and launch a massive shockwave from the skies above, and the technique itself was known as Galaxy Impact. This technique was strong enough to destroy the town underneath him and take out several powerful pirates in one fell swoop. Moving forward, Garp went on to infuse other attacks of his with Conqueror's haki as well. When he faced off against Kuzan, Garp made sure to make use of the color of the Supreme King with a technique called the Blue Hole, which saw him grab Kuzan's face and then send him crashing through the ground. Clearly, only the very strongest of characters are known to be able to infuse Conqueror's haki, and Garp, being a legendary figure, being able to do this should not be a surprise to any fan. Garp possesses tremendous control over the color of the Supreme King. However, it must also be noted at the same time that his Conqueror's haki has grown weaker over time. This is due to him aging and not being in his prime anymore, and this is something that Garp acknowledged himself as soon as he landed on the pirate island. In One Piece Chapter 1088, Garp managed to put on a display despite having a hole in his chest. After getting up from Kuzan Ice Glove attack, Garp decided to give the young Navy members an opportunity to escape from the pirate island. To do so, he would create an opening, and then the next generation would have to take on the task of stopping Pizarro's hand and then escaping with the marine ship. Garp's Galaxy Divide is an incredibly powerful technique that he used for this purpose. To unleash the technique of Galaxy Divide, Garp first starts moving at an incredibly fast speed, such that even the former Admiral Kuzan couldn't see him. Despite being beaten up and severely injured, Garp was able to blitz Kuzan and punch him down to the ground, moving through all the other pirates in the process. He then went on to jump from one building to another at an incredibly fast speed. Even Pizarro, the fourth ship captain, couldn't do much about it, simply because Garp was moving way too fast. Garp then leapt into the skies and got as close to Pizarro as he could. From there onwards, he charged his fist with Conqueror's haki and let out powerful shockwaves at point-blank range. This technique was named Galaxy Divide, and it was strong enough to split the entire pirate's skull on top of Hachinosu in half. One might be confused at how big a feat this is, but it is worth remembering that the skull on Hachinosu itself is the size of an island. Essentially, Garp's Galaxy Divide was strong enough for him to split an entire island with ease, and that is certainly very special indeed. What's more, he managed to do this in a very injured state and in his old age. Garp in his prime would have been able to sink islands with a single punch, and that is surely a scary thought, and just goes to show how good his usage of Conqueror's haki is. Galaxy Divide is, by far, Garp's strongest technique that fans have seen so far. While Galaxy Impact was able to destroy a small town underneath Garp, Galaxy Divide is something in a league of its own. Garp also used Blue Hole against Kuzan and sent him crashing through the ground. However, the Marine was seen getting back up shortly afterwards. Surely, Blue Hole and Galaxy Impact are powerful techniques. However, from what the fans saw, Galaxy Divide might just be the strongest technique that Garp has pulled off so far. This is especially true because this technique saw him split an island-sized skull with ease, on top of blazing through several pirates, one of them being a former Navy admiral. His speed while performing this technique is out of this world and one of the best speed feats that fans have seen in the entire series, despite being old. The shockwave that Garp produces with his punch itself is great enough to tear down islands, and that just goes to show why he was a demon to pirates in the past. Fans already know that in the past, Garp was in the same league as the likes of Roger and Whitebeard, and this just goes to show why that was the case. All of these characters had tremendously overpowered abilities. While Whitebeard had a devil fruit that could help him destroy the world, Roger had tremendously overpowered haki, and so did Garp. These characters were in a league of their own, and even in their old ages, they are vastly superior to others. That is precisely why Kuzan needed help from the Titanic captains to deal with Garp. Sadly, Garp has now been defeated. However, in the future, fans might get to see another incredible display from him, that is, if he survives. How strong do you really think Garp is? Leave your answers in the comments section below, and I would really appreciate it if you press that subscribe button.